Today's video is sponsored in part by Vendoo. Hi everyone, I hope you are all doing well today. My name is Lori. If you are new here, I am a reseller on Poshmark and eBay and Depop as of recently, and I share my reselling journey here on YouTube. Today I am going to cover sales from the month of March 1st through March 8th. I'm filming this on Tuesday, March 8th. We are off to a very, very slow start. I think for me, just coming off of a month where I thrifted very little in the month of February and I had pretty decent sales. I was out thrifting a lot this week and I just kind of lost my focus when it came to listing and being diligent, and it really, really showed in my sales. So I just wanted to share with you what I have sold so far. Most of my stuff has gone out. I'm just going to go over my sales on my phone. I also have a few things that sold today or yesterday, so I can share those with you. Just to briefly go over where my sales have been so far this year on Poshmark exclusively. In January, my sales were $4,309. Last month, my sales on Poshmark were $5,612.75. So if you look at that and you divide that by 4 weeks that are in February, that's approximately $1,400 in sales per week, or about $200 in sales per day on Poshmark. Keep that in mind. I did really hustle last month, but as of right now on Poshmark, and I'm actually getting an extra day because today is the 8th, my sales are $865. So by any measure, I am way behind where I was in the month of February. I also had a big sale on my mystery boxes last month, and that was probably 15 or 16 of my sales, and those were each $35 a piece. So I also ran a BOGO sale. There was a lot going on last month, so I'm not surprised that it dipped, but I don't want it to dip as much as it has. Typically, I feel pretty decent if I do $1,000 in sales per week, and everybody's expectation is different. So let's jump right in, and we'll start with March 1st. So on March 1st, I sold this Spiritual Gangster raglan tee in a size small for $16 with discounted shipping. I had it marked at $20. This was an item I got at the bins and I hadn't listed it. So this was a death pile item that I listed in the month of February, and I'm going to highlight those sales. I definitely think it's worth noting how many of the items that sold in this first week of March were actually listed during February, and they were items that were from my death pile. This is one of them. Not a huge profit, but it was sitting in my death pile, so that was a good one. Oh boy. Okay, that was my only sale on March 1st, and I have had a no sales day, so it's been a little crazy. On March 2nd, I sold these Patricia Pepe terry cloth jogger Bermuda shorts. I purchased these at an outdoor market in Florence, Italy in 2019. My son was studying abroad over the summer and we went out there, and I was excited because they were designer name and I've had them for so long. I'm wondering if we need to bring back By Felicia for these. If you're new to my channel, I used to do what sold videos, and every time I had an item that had been in my inventory for a real long time, we would all say together, By Felicia, to the things that have been in my inventory forever. So these were definitely worthy of a By Felicia farewell. So only $18, I paid $5 for those. Next up, March 3rd. So notice the pattern. I only sold one $16 item on March 1st and an $18 item on March 2nd. I will go over my eBay sales too with you. On March 3rd, I sold this Johnston & Murphy navy quilted vest for $35. This was a negotiation back and forth. I think I had this listed at $55. I let it go for $35 because I was 2 days with less than $40 in sales for the month. So once that happens, I definitely start to get a little more generous with what I'm putting out there. I actually paid $15 for this vest, so my profit margin was low on this, but I needed to get the sales going. I needed to move some stuff. That was my only sale on Poshmark on March 3rd. So 3 days in a row, I only sold one item on Poshmark. So you can understand that by the 4th, I was feeling a little nervous. But on March 4th, I sold this Athleta black V-neck top in a size 3X, really nice. I featured this in a recent video from a Goodwill in Worcester. Now this I had listed at $55. There were none listed in this size. I took a $35 offer. for the same reason. I definitely had it priced a little high, but a lot of the comps were around $40, so I thought I would get at least 40, but that's all right. I paid $5 and some change for that, and it sold for $35 in less than a week, so I was happy with that. Next up is another item from that same haul. It's this thermal long sleeve shirt. It's merch for David Dobrik, who is a YouTube personality. He's a big name on YouTube, and it just said clickbait. So one of my viewers, Rebecca, bought this for her husband. So thank you, Rebecca. I hope he really likes it. So that was $25, and I think I had that listed at $28. So Rebecca sent me a very fair offer. Next up are these Calcio Flamingo Floral Butterfly Patterned Clogs. My son Rocco just went to the grocery store, and I'm filming in the basement, so he just said, just dropped off the groceries. Thank you, Rocco. Where was I? Again, these clogs I had priced around $50 or $55, and I accepted a $35 offer on these. These are really cute. They are kind of Birkenstock looking. They remind me of the Boston Birkenstock, I think is the style. And they had these fun flamingos on them, and they had a little floral pattern and some butterflies. So this was kind of a specific look. So I don't know how many people are going to be looking for flamingo butterfly shoes. This was a sale that I was really happy to have. I'm pretty sure I paid about $6 for these shoes. Okay, so what day are we on now? So March 4th, I bounced back a little bit. I sold the Athleta shirt, the clickbait shirt, and the Calcio Flamingo shoes. So that was, at least right there, that was a $95 day. Still very low for me, but I'll take it, given the beginning of this month. Next up was a Bowden V-neck kimono sleeve mixed pattern jersey dress. When I picked this up, I only paid $3 for it, and the comps were really promising. They were much better than I thought they would be. Bowden is just one of those brands. Some of their pieces really hold their value. So I had this priced at $75. It had a fair amount of interest on it, and I kept sending out offers for that. This was 30% off, $52 with discounted shipping. I'd sent out that offer quite a bit, and then finally somebody accepted. That was a great sale. I was happy with that. Okay, next up is this Pinecone Hill fine linen floral belted robe, 100% cotton. This is another death pile item. This had been hanging on my rolling rack for probably a year. I used to shop at a place that carried this line, Pinecone Hill, and they have some really beautiful linens, and they also, they sell bedspreads and comforters, and I knew the value, so I have no idea where this was from. It's been a while. I did finally list it, and so that sold for $32. So that went to my viewer, I believe, Lois, and Lois actually bought one other thing that's in this list here. Next up, I sold 3 of my mystery boxes to one person. So thank you, Mary. She had reached out to me on Instagram when I posted some of my mystery boxes and shared with me that she was interested in a men's box and a kid's box, which I hadn't listed yet because the interest tends to be with my mixed women bundle boxes. So I had kind of tapped the brakes on listing the juniors, men's, and children, but she expressed an interest. I put it out there. If anybody does want a more specific box, let me know. So she bought 3 boxes, and a lot of those items I picked up at the Pit in Cambridge. I'm starting to do this new model where when I go to the bins or the Pit, in an effort to not load back up on all the inventory that I just got through, I'm being very selective with the items that I'm going to put in my own closet, and then I'm getting those mall brands that are super cute that just don't sell for a lot for me personally, and I'm putting them in mystery boxes. So when I go to the bins, I'm going to always be on the lookout for items that will work in my mystery boxes, which are 5 to 7 items for $35 pre-owned. They're not meant to be reseller boxes. They're just a way for people to get some items between $5 and $7 per piece. Now would be a great time to thank today's sponsor, Vendoo. Vendoo is a cross-listing service that cross-posts your items to 10 different marketplaces. I love actually talking about Vendoo during a What Sold video because it shows you what is selling on different platforms for me. By far, Poshmark is my #1 sales place, and everything goes to Poshmark first, and then things get cross-posted to other platforms. So in my 90 days on eBay, which I know is not much in terms of sales, but my 90-day total is $1,700, $1,768.51 in 90 days. Some people have $10,000 in 90 days. But all I want to say is without Vendoo, that would be zero because I am a lazy cross seller. So for me, it's fantastic to have a platform that pushes me to list things on other platforms. I also have like 38 or 40 items over on Depop. I haven't sold anything over there. But to be honest, if it weren't for Vendoo and it wasn't so easy to start on a new platform, I would be really, really frustrated at listing so many things that were fresh listings that weren't getting attention. But right now for me, it's kind of an experimental phase over there. If it doesn't work, I can always try a different platform. I can go back to Mercari, I can list on Kittison or Grailed. There are just so many other options. Vendoo really makes it easy to do that. I recently did an Instagram post that explained how I replaced my spreadsheets by using Vendoo as like my inventory management. When I get home from the thrift store, I record things into Vendoo immediately. I record my cost of goods and I record the title of what I purchased. And by doing so, I'm also creating a draft. So that serves as double duty. And then it's a record on my Vendoo hub that will, keep track of what's coming into my business. Vendoo also offers 5 free listings per month. So if you've been thinking about cross listing and you're not sure you want to commit to any sort of monthly payment, you can try it out. You can do 5 new listings every single month with them and see if it's worth it for you. Also, I should mention that Vendoo has a great refer a friend program. I do receive a small commission if people do sign up, but it's not exclusive to just people who are on YouTube or Instagram. If you use the service and it's something that you find valuable like I do, their refer a friend program is wonderful. So thank you, Vendoo. And let's get back to the what sold. Okay, so March 5th was quite a comeback for me because I was coming off of so many low sales, and I had the Pinecone Hill for $32, and then the bundles sold, those were $102. And then next up was this item. Now, this is an interesting item. It's not in my normal wheelhouse, but this is an item that I had purchased specifically for Amazon, and I bought it on Black Friday. This retailed for $139, and it's Rainbow High dolls, and it was like, I think it was an exclusive for Black Friday. At the time, I was only selling things through Amazon fulfillment, so I wasn't fulfilling the orders. I was doing FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. So as I got things, I would send them off to Amazon. Well, as a rookie seller, when I picked this up, I think I paid $65, but at the time, around Christmas time, they were selling for like $100, $120, $130, which was the normal retail because these were half off on Black Friday. So I bought 2 of them. Well, when I went to send them to Amazon, the shipping for me to send them to Amazon would have cut so much into my profit margin, given what my cost of goods was, which was $65, plus what it cost me to send it to Amazon. It just wasn't worth it. So I decided to keep them, list them on Poshmark, because Poshmark has very affordable shipping, especially on bulky items like this. So I ended up selling this for $105. I had it listed at $139, and then I think I offered 20% off with discounted shipping. My buyer missed my offer, so he made a counter offer a couple dollars less to account for the shipping discount, and I accepted. Now my challenge is to find a box that this actually fits in so that I can ship it out. I may end up just putting it in a big poly mailer, but I'm a little worried that it might get bent up in the mail. So these items stress me out. It is really cool. So even though that was a great sale at $105, after Poshmark took their fees, my earnings were $84 and I paid $64. So it was only a $20 profit. So this is what was happening to me with Amazon stuff, is I was putting up a lot of money up front for items, and then my profit margins were comparable to, if I were to get a J. Crew sweatshirt, I'd make $20 in many cases. But the key to Amazon, in my humble opinion and very novice experience with Amazon, is to get those multiple SKUs. So it's not about getting 1 or 2 items. It's about finding an item that has a SKU that even if you're only making $10 or $20 on it, you're sending Amazon 50 of those. So you're making $20 times 50 if it's a hot item. Then all of a sudden it becomes worth it. And it's not so much about the high profit margins, but it's about how many of one SKU can you send in. And as a newbie, I was also all excited over the Christmas hype on Amazon, and I was buying all of these toys and not really taking into account how much it was going to cost to ship. If this was a lightweight item, I'd be so happy to make only $20 profit, and I would send them as many as I could. I recently dropped down from my Amazon from like the professional status to the personal status, which is you pay $1 for every item that you send in, and I haven't sent them anything since December. So really cooling it with Amazon right now until I clear through all of the old inventory or the bad buys that I made. And when you make bad buys on Amazon, it's pretty costly. Some people do Amazon so well, and I bow to them because it is an art form and it is really, really hard work. Just like reselling is hard work. It's just it's like a whole different language. I'm really grateful for the experience I had, and I'm happy that I went through all the hassle to actually get the status to be able to sell on Amazon. But now I just need to kind of reassess once I get through my old inventory and then take it more at my pace. I found this one item at Savers that was new in the box. It was some sort of a sewing kit that was an assistant, like to help you hem something in a hurry. I don't know if it was an adhesive or what it was, but they had them 2 in a package, new with tags, for 99 cents. And they had like 50 packages. So I scanned it, and it scanned for Amazon. So this was something I was like, oh my goodness, these are costing just 50 cents a piece. I can get almost 100 of them. I'm going to send them off to Amazon. It would have made even more money if I shipped it myself and fulfilled it by merchant, because you pay less in fees if you ship it yourself, but then it's more on your plate, it's more in your inventory, and you guys all know where I stand with my inventory. I sent those off, and those have just been consistently selling, and they're only selling for like $10, but my profit on them is about $7, and I sent in like 50 to 100. I sent in 2 batches. I think I sent 50 in one batch and then 30 in another. So that has been a really good win for Amazon, and it was just a very unassuming little package. So I scan everything still, because you never know when you're going to scan something that's going to make a good profit. And if there's a lot of it, you can just put it all in one box, one SKU in one box, and ship it off and forget about it. Sorry to go off on a little Amazon tangent there, but I know some people are interested in my Amazon experience, so I'll sprinkle it in here and there. Okay, now we're on March 6th. This is also something that was in my death pile. I bought a pair of new with tag, Madewell white jeans in a size 29. They were the Madewell Perfect Vintage Crop. Their price tag was $128 on these. I bought them at a yard sale knowing that they were a little bit flawed. They had like a little bit of a yellowing throughout, like maybe there was some sort of a water stain, or I don't know what exactly it was, but I knew this when I purchased them. At the time, I thought I was going to be creative and tie-dye them and do something really fun with them, but per usual, when I think I'm going to do a project, it usually ends up in a pile, mainly my death pile. I had had those since yard sale season of like 2019 or 2020. It had been years. Finally, I listed them. I listed them at $38, which is very low for a new with tag pair of jeans from Madewell with $128 price tag. And I obviously said there's some yellowing, but I left the tags on. All you probably would have to do is bleach these pants and they would be like brand new again. But because they were new with tag, my hands were tied a little bit. So I decided to list them as is for $38. Somebody sent me an offer for $32 and boom, they were out the door, and I still made a profit. I paid $10 for them many moons ago. So my profit was $25.60 after fees. So I made $16.50. So not bad for something that had been in my death pile. That was another item that moved out of my death pile this month. I'm always so thrilled when things move. Next up, on March 6th were these Levi's Wedgie Straight Distressed Jeans. I just recently picked these up. These were in a haul from Savers that I recently had. I paid $9 plus 20% off at Savers, so I got $1.80 off, so $7.20. My earnings were $40, so that was a very quick flip and really good profit. I was really happy with that. Next up is another item from my death pile. I believe I had been given this in some sort of a B&G like influencer box that was sent to me years ago. And I just never listed it, or I got this at the bins. Honestly, I don't even remember. It was new with tags. Metisu, M-E-T-I-S-U midi dress, belted. I was very fortunate to find a stock photo on this dress because I believe the stock photo did wonders for this dress. I think I had it listed for $50 or $60 and somebody offered me $45 and it was only listed for like a week or two. And it's a very heavy dress, really beautiful. I was thrilled with that sale. So that sold on March 6th. My earnings were $36. I can't tell you what I paid for them. I would not have paid up for this dress, so it was either free in a B&G box or I got it at the Pit or the Bins or somebody had given it to me. So I don't ever remember even purchasing it. Next up is this Trip NYC jacket. I stumbled upon this after hearing somebody else talk about it in a video, and it was this almost like a chore jacket with buttons down the front. It had a really cool collar. I would have never picked this up, and I wish I could give credit to whoever talked about it. Somebody wrote in the comments that it may have been Nicole State, and I did watch one of Nicole's videos recently, so maybe it was her. It was somewhere in my subconscious. It was $5.49 plus 20% off. I purchased it. I had no idea that it was like a big deal. It used to be sold at Hot Topic from what people had written in my haul video, and it's kind of that punk grunge phase from the early 2000s. Anyways, I listed it for $68 and Lois bought it outright for $68. I just shipped that out today. It was a really cool jacket and what a great flip on that. This is why I love to watch other resellers because I'm always learning and I learn from you guys who leave me messages in my comments, and it's just a great community. My profits on that were $54.40 and it was like $5.20 plus 20% off. So I think I cleared about $50 on that jacket and it sold like in a day. Next up, another item from a recent video, this Free People boho sugar plum tutu midi skirt in a size medium. This was such an adorable skirt. I think I picked this up at a Savers recently. Really a beautiful skirt with all sorts of layering, and it sold on an offer for $35. I think this was like $7 and change plus 20% off. I probably paid about $6 for this. My earnings were $25.32, so I made about $19 profit on that. Next up was in my death pile as well. My friend had given me a pair of shoes that she was going to give to Rocco. Her son had tried them, didn't like them. He had taken the insoles out, so she had given them to me. They had a little bit of wear, but they were in really good condition, and she had the box. They were the Nike men's Mamba Rage black sneakers, size 11.5. They sold for $95. Someone bought them outright. Somebody had offered me like $50 or $60, and I had countered because the comps were really good, but I wasn't sure if they were going to do okay because they were missing the insole. But they sold outright for $95, and those were listed for less than a week. And they were in my death pile as well. So death pile was really paying off. My earnings were $76. Next up, I actually have this here with me. I hope, is this the right color or is this the black? Oh gosh, I'm so glad I did this because this is black and I needed the navy. My mother-in-law is a nurse and she gave me 3 sets of her Sketcher scrubs, one in maroon, one in black, and one in navy. And I had sold the navy ones for $30. Somebody offered me $22. I had them listed for $38, but I countered at $30 and she accepted. So my earnings were $24, and that's all profit because my mother-in-law gave those to me. These were sales that came in today. Next up, I picked this up, I think at Savers. I picked it up just based on style. Animal print tends to sell well for me, and this eyelash pattern, this eyelash fabric does well also. So I think this was very inexpensive, like maybe $3 or $4, I believe at Savers. And I had it listed for $28, and again, sales were slow. So I just sent out an offer for $20 with discounted shipping, and my buyer accepted. So my earnings were $14.28 after discounted shipping. I probably paid about $4 and change, so I made about $10 profit on that. And then these just sold right before I pressed record. These are the Athleta Sculptec denim jeans. I had done a run on these at TJ Maxx. Some were priced at $8, some were $3 on clearance. I bought a bunch of these and they had been sitting in my death pile. I had a couple drafts of them. I wasn't sure what was listed and what wasn't. So I was afraid to make a bunch of them go live. And finally, I just scrapped all my old pictures. We took new pictures and I got them all listed. So this was listed for less than a week. They are the Athleta Crop Sculpt Tech. I had these listed at 55. Somebody offered me 30. I counted at 38. She came back at 35. I accepted. When sales are low, I end up accepting. So I ended up accepting that. So those were all of my Poshmark sales. I do have a couple sales on eBay that I want to talk about. One being the Ibex sweater that I featured in my last haul from Savers. God, I loved that sweater. It was the cinnamon color. It was like new. I listed it for $125 on eBay and Poshmark, and I received like a $70 offer on eBay. I countered at 96. They came back at 80, and then I countered at 90, and I wrote back and said, I just listed this today. I would be willing to accept your offer at a later time, but right now I need to stick to a little bit closer to what I'm asking. I still gave $30 off, which really was kind of a gift because this sweater was fantastic. It sold in a day for $90. I paid, it was $9.49 plus 20% off. I paid about $8, seven and change. And yeah, that was a really fast flip. I probably could have held out for that $100. I always love it when I hit that benchmark, like, oh, there we go, $100. But I was like $90. I didn't even have time to put it in my inventory. And I made. Hi everyone, Editing Lori here, just finishing up my video, and it appears that my camera missed the last two sales. Well, actually, we got the Ibex, so that was $90. That was a great profit margin. Besides that, I sold a turtleneck sweater, a cashmere vintage, that was from one of the buyouts that I did, and it sold for $26 and change. Buyer paid shipping. I paid about $15 per item on average. It wasn't a huge profit, but I did have those two sales on eBay, and that wraps up the sales for March 1st through March 8th. I want to thank Vendoo one more time for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to click the link in my description to try Vendoo out and save 25% off your first month of service with them. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope your sales are strong, and I hope you're reaching your goals with your reselling business. Be sure to like this video if you had a good time, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more from me. I do about 2 videos per week, and if you want to check out my lifestyle channel, I will link that here. That is called Time with Tata, and we have a lot of fun over there too. So thank you guys so much. I will be back real soon with another video. Bye.